Yeah, it's Bobby Sessions, young legend from Dallas, Texas. Welcome back to Stereo Vision. Let's get it.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to another Stereo Vision interview. Today we got the young legend, man, Bobby Sessions. Thank you for rocking with us, dog.
Man, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
Yes, sir, man. We just did the sound check, you know what I mean? Hearing
Yeah.
you sounding great, bro.
Thank you, man.
How's tour been going for you?
Tour's been incredible. Salute to my guy, Westside Boogie. And this whole team for the opportunity to come out here and bless the stage all across this country and some others as well. Yeah. And it's been an exciting experience to share the message with the people and debut some of the songs off this EP I got coming on the 21st.
Facts. Okay, we got the new music coming. Make sure to tap into that. Before we get too deep into the music and all that stuff, I want to give you congratulations, man. You recently got married back in December and you welcomed your first child into the world in April, man. Congratulations, blessings on all that, man.
Man, appreciate it. God is good. My wife is beautiful. Our daughter is beautiful, and it's exciting to expand the family. Working hard for the last name, not the first name.
Facts, bro. Facts. Because you've been real vocal about how your girls held you down. Your family's been able to hold you down as you started this journey. How has bringing that change into your life really changed you both as a rapper and just as a person?
It's ultimately has evolved me as a man, and that pours back over into the music ultimately. Being able to build with somebody for so long and through every part of this fucking grind, out the mud, whatever you want to call it, to be able to, take care of my family off something I love to do is a really beautiful thing, and we're excited to continue to build on that.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire, man. So you originally from Dallas, Texas, you know what I'm saying? We see Memphis having a moment right now, you know what I mean? My family personally from the South, Georgia.
Yeah.
How has that Southern sound and just the South in general influenced you in your music?
I think the South, we have a unique ability for patterns, pockets, and beat selection. Yeah. It's about the rhythm. It's about the feeling. You have lyricism with actual lyrics, and then you have a deep type of sonic lyricism. You got bars like metaphors, and you have bars like knowing what pattern you need to have on the beat to get somebody on their feet, so to speak.
Okay.
That's an unintentional rhyme. It just
it's light for him. It's light for him, man.
But I've been influenced by East Coast rappers in regards to lyricism, so I'll try my best to fuse those worlds together. But it's called rhythm and poetry for a reason, as opposed to poetry and rhythm. You lead with the rhythm, and that's what the South does best.
Okay, so now I really want to focus in on that because you are a lyricist and you really take rap as a sport, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A lot of people is focused on the melodies or the beat selection, but you really are going back to that more traditional art form of rap. Have you always been that way?
Yeah, I started off as a poet, so I was a lyrics first person, but I realized that this is not the lyrics business, this is the music business.
Nice.
So at the end of the day, I have been hyper-focused on using my competitive nature to make better songs as opposed to just having bars, because you're not going to change the world with bars.
No, that's a fact. You be communicating a lot of messages, you know what I mean? Spreading a lot of positivity, things like that. We go into Instagram, we see a lot of the motivational messages you be giving to the people. What inspired that?
Well, I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations to be here today, and ultimately I don't want people to have to suffer in ways that I suffer because I didn't have the information. I had to be the person, particularly where I'm from, I had to be a pioneer. So with the scars, the bumps and bruises, and the arrows that I've taken thus far, I want to share certain experiences and lessons that I've learned across the journey so that people can walk their paths with less arrows in their back.
No, that's a fact. And I think that you really are you're helping people in really creative ways, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times we get preached at, you know what I mean? You don't see a lot of people who look like us speaking so candidly about mental health. So I really do appreciate what you're doing for the entire community as a whole. Going back to your beginnings, you know what I'm saying? How did you start really getting into rap? What are some of your musical influences that you grew up on?
Well, my musical influences is Jay-Z, Kanye, Kendrick Lamar, Pharrell, and Tupac.
Yeah.
I'll say the biggest influences, and also Eminem, Andre 3000, and others. But coming up through elementary school, middle school, high school, I was heavy in the sports. So high school, I did football from Pop Warner through my senior year of high school. I played basketball, I ran track.
Okay.
And rap, I didn't see myself as a rapper. I used to freestyle a lot, and I realized I was having bigger moments freestyling on the bus after the game than I had in the fucking game.
Yeah.
Can I cuss on this?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can.
But yeah, like, so I'm realizing, like, okay, it's taking me far more effort to perform well in athletics than it's taking me to come up with a line off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
So maybe this is my gift, because
Yeah.
I'm doing it very well and getting a pretty strong reaction every time I do it, and it's not taking me much effort.
Facts.
It's something that was innately there, that it was pre-installed, so to speak. So by the time I got to college, they had something called Poetic Justice. It was a student-led organization. Every Tuesday night, there would be a gazebo in front of the student union, the University of North Texas. And I went and did some poetry at this event, and they had a cipher at the end. And I heard the dudes rapping and felt like I could rap better than them. So I went back to my dorm. I wrote a rap. I came back November 16th, 2010, recited the rap. Place went crazy. I dropped out of school shortly after.
Praise different pieces out the jungle with me. Can't clip a trumpet in the flow, I make it rain. Change the bitches on me now because my rank different. Fuck on the first night, you wanna be my man. Praise different pieces out the jungle with me. Can't clip a trumpet in the flow, I make it rain. Change the bitches, LA master, disrespect my daughter, you must wanna die. Tune up with a fan up to the street and watch your mama cry. We don't give a fuck about who is who, bitch, you don't wanna try. Treat her out like who this human, spin the block 100 times. Bring some red like 7 prison white, with a flipping dice. Roll 7 with a 3 and 4. I don't want my name, I'm first. Open air, feel chicken over fire. Drop this, rubbing hands up, with the pipe.
Yeah. See, this nigga, you talk about rapping as a gift a lot of time whenever you mention it. So it seems like you kind of know you had a thing for it from the beginning, and you just like took that competitive aspect right to the stage. That's fire.
Yeah, I think sometimes God sends you signs, but you need to be tapped in order to detect when God's speaking to you. And from elementary school, middle school, high school, every time I would freestyle, the reactions would get stronger and stronger, and my confidence in it was higher and higher. So I was getting 10 years of data that was saying, hey, you should pursue this a little more. And don't let the lack of having that identity, like I didn't identify as a rapper, so I would have never thought to go to the studio and actually try to write a rap and record a rap.
Yeah.
But I was getting too much, it was too much market research. I didn't know it was market research at the time, but that's ultimately what it was, so I would have been foolish to not pursue it further.
And then coming from where you come from, seeing all that, going from that point, how does it feel to then look at your first debut album and see people like Rick Ross, Freddie Gibbs, Benny the Butcher featuring on that, other great lyricists big up in you and supporting your tracks?
And it's an amazing blessing, and I think ultimately it's a testament to the power of manifestation.
Facts.
I visualized in my mind being peers with people of that caliber. I've seen myself as somebody that is meant to be dominant in this league. And ultimately, when you're dealing with majors or independents that's doing major-like numbers, this is our version of the NBA. And I didn't wake up just trying to make the roster. I do this to be dominant, to have all-star appearances.
Yeah.
So that the person that has that type of life, of course, they'll be able to easily hang with some of the best in the world, like a Ross, like a Benny and Freddie, and others for the rest of my career. I'm supposed to be here, and I'm here to win.
Yeah. So going into your story, doing my little research or whatever, I seen that when you had first started this and decided to take your rapping stuff really seriously, you have $50 in your bank account, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what do you have to say to that person out there that, is, as you said, working just to be broke? What do you have to say to them to motivate them to really chase their passion?
I would tell them that working for yourself is 10 times harder than working for somebody else. And you need to make sure you do, I guess a crucial part of that story is when I left my job with no money, that was the second time I did it. I tried it 4 years before that with no plan whatsoever. And I did not have the mental strength to deal with the inevitable and relentless obstacles that was being thrown my way, because I thought I was like, I'm dope, so some great things are supposed to happen for me instantly. And those toxic time expectations contributed heavily to those mental health battles that I was having. it wasn't just some chemical shit inside my body. I was forcing it because I thought I'm gonna drop out of school, I'm nice as fuck, so I'm supposed to blow up and get $1 million. So when my physical reality didn't match that vision, that gap is where my anxiety and depression thrived in. So I would tell anybody that's thinking of making that leap, like, if you're someone that's easily flustered, you might want to work that job and continue to read and invest in your mental health and your spiritual health to deal with the inevitable, relentless obstacles that you will hurdle in your path to be successful.
Yeah, bro, I appreciate that because, you know, this mental health stuff is, even when you get help, even when you start to improve, you know what I mean? These problems don't just go away, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's an everyday battle,
Sure.
and it's about just constantly being better than you were yesterday.
Right.
And I think that that's a main, really big takeaway from your music. I want to talk to you a little bit about your last track, Alone. Powerful video, powerful song in general, man.
Thank you.
What got you to the point where you felt comfortable being so vivid and being so honest on a track that you're going to share with the rest of the world?
Man, that's a great question. I would say I've reached a place mentally, emotionally, spiritually where I can talk about a dark moment without being trapped back into that moment. I know how to tap back into it enough for the messaging, the delivery, how it's shown in the video as well, to be authentic to the point that you know that, oh, that must have really happened for real.
Yeah.
But not letting that trigger me back to that same place. So it was almost like a form of therapy, or shackles breaking, to write the song, record the song, and really the video and the performing every night on this tour. It's been a wild experience each night, and some of the messages and things that I've gotten from people have been insane. And to know that it's helping people lets me know that it didn't go in vain.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a 22 to shoot myself round 22. Deep connection, couldn't fake it if I wanted to. I can speak to all of you, but I can't speak to one of you. If a gun was at my head for real, but I had the guts to pull it, I don't know, cause I didn't have no money for the bullets. Back and forth scenarios, my mind began to wonder. Pulling trigger takes some follow through. That's my biggest problem. Reading books, attending seminars in hopes to change the feeling. Alternatives to dying, to escape the pains of living. David and Goliath, raise my level or it's over. But it's hard to toss this pebble, this boulder on my shoulder. Antisocial, I want to be alone. Accustomed to the prison and the mental being home. That Gucci belt won't hold you up when you feel them knees buckle. You hit that floor and pray to God and feel like he don't love you.
I mean, we got to give you your flowers whenever we can, because that type of stuff, when people are going through that stuff, it's not always right in front of our face. I think it almost gets, you know what I mean, glamorized, romanticized, but people who are going through it aren't very honest about it all the time, because they can't be sometimes. So for you to take that leap, you know, it really meant a lot for a lot of people, and that's big ups to you for that, for real, for real.
Yeah, thank you. I guess that's the irony of Alone Time. When you're suffering and you get to a pretty dark place, I think oftentimes we're in a dark place a lot longer than we necessarily need to be, because we've convinced ourselves that our experience is so unique, and that everybody else around us is having the greatest time, and they're in full control over their mind, body, and spirit. And I think the isolation of that breeds that hopelessness that you can't reverse it.
Yeah.
And so how they say, like, everything in this universe has a opposite and equal reaction. I would remind myself when I'm not feeling right that there's a alternate possibility that is the polar end of the spectrum of what I'm feeling now. So if I have the power to make myself feel bad, then I have the power to make myself feel good.
That's beautiful, man. That's really, really beautiful. And coming from that, you know what I mean, reaching these highest highs, like being nominated and then winning a Grammy Award, amazing, for the Savage remix, Megan Thee Stallion, Beyonce. How did it feel to see all your hard work culminate into such an amazing award?
Man, it's a life changer. I mean, it's changed the trajectory of my entire family. Even before the remix, just the original of Savage, that was the one that really took off during one of the worst years in human history, particularly in the last 100 years. And that was the theme song that gave people a piece of happiness while they were quarantining at home, or had a family member die because of COVID, or lost their jobs because the companies bellied up. them and their families doing that dance in the living room provided a great deal of happiness and joy, and the accolade and the money and just the cachet that comes with a dub like that was a tip from the universe for the service that was provided.
You know that got to be crazy. You hearing people dancing to your song on TikTok, walking down the street, hearing people doing that, playing on the radio, man. That's got to be mind-blowing.
Man, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I left my job, for example, in 2015, I released a project called LOA, which is the acronym for Law of Attraction. And then the cover art, there's like $, there's a Grammy. And then 5 years later, it had all manifested. The song went number 1 on the Hot 100. It was Beyonce, like the greatest living entertainer in the universe, unless there's some aliens that want some smoke. And
they don't.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't.
They don't want no smoke with Beyonce. And for the song to go number 1, and it was... everybody wants a number 1, no matter what they tell you. Everybody you want the gold. And it didn't even have a music video, neither version. So
right.
Yeah, that was a great feat. And let me know that God is listening, and God smells your honor.
Always. How does your headspace change when you go from writing for yourself to writing for someone else, especially someone of maybe an opposite gender, you know what I mean? Someone going through or living a completely different life than you. How are you able to still write lyrics that are so translatable and genuine?
Great question. I think if you call yourself a legend and if you call yourself a legend and call yourself great, I don't see how you can not do it. Mm-hmm. Like Jay-Z does it all the time. Jay-Z can write for Beyonce or write with Beyonce, can do whatever. He's just nice like that. Then he can turn around and make the blueprint for himself, and then turn around and do still Dre for Dre. Like it's just when you're great, you're great. You're not put in any boxes. And I think I do have a gift of studying someone, seeing their experiences, and being able to come up with material that I think helps them best tell their story.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely translates. It definitely is seen through all of the work that you be putting out.
Thank you, man.
Have you been a part of any other songs or any other studio sessions, seen songs made that people may not know about that have just become like crazy?
I mean, Savage is definitely the craziest one, but yeah, I worked on Girls in the Hood for Meg. I did Moo Wop, Lotto, and Gucci Mane.
Yeah.
I've done a bunch of different things. I think a lot of people don't know I do a lot of like sync work, like stuff for movies and stuff like that. Like The Hate You Give was a big one. I had a lead single for the Coming to America movie with me and Megan Thee Stallion, and there'll be more down the line that are even bigger. So any ways that I can make an impact, or even writing a comic book for Marvel.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know I did that. I want to expand my pen and allow my pen to open as many doors for me as possible in as many different arenas as possible, and try my best to be dominant in all of them.
It will. So outside of rapping, outside of writing, what does Bobby Sessions like to do just to enjoy life?
I am a aggressive learner. That's what brings excitement into my life. I want to really test the law of attraction and manifestation and see how many things that I can do. I don't necessarily need a break from it, because it's what's feeding me and making me feel alive. So I want to do it as much as possible. When I'm not doing it, I'm resting and spending time with my family, and working hard to make sure I can provide them everything that their heart desires and then some.
Hey, y'all need to listen to this, man. This is how you get to the top. This is how you achieve your goals. That's dedication, focus, passion, all of that, man. And you can see that shit. So since Manifest came out a little bit ago, how have you grown as an artist?
I think from some of the lessons from being in different rooms on a songwriting tip, I'm fusing the worlds of really learning and understanding what hit pockets are, and putting my messaging with that, which is a very damn near impossible code to crack, which is what makes the challenge so exciting. So I've been just trying to make whether my songs about self-help or empowerment or improving your mental health or believing in yourself more or manifesting your dreams, I want that shit to slap. I want that shit to slap.
You want thumpers too.
I gotta have them. I gotta have them. So I would say I've grown a lot in that area since Manifest has been released, and you can see, and you'll hear it more on this the new music that's coming out.
That's amazing. You had a favorite stop on tour so far?
Favorite stop on tour? I'm in LA, so I'm gonna say LA.
You know what I mean?
But in addition to LA, I really enjoyed places that I had never been to before, like Sacramento. That was just a different vibe. Brooklyn is always good. You know, it's like in basketball terms, you always want to do good at Madison Square Garden. You want to
put up 50.
You want to put up 50, and that's ironic that you said that because I've been saying that all day. That's what I plan on dropping tonight. You want to have legendary games and the legendary venues at the legendary times. And that's what you fucking live for and get up for. And so you want to do good in LA, you want to do good in Brooklyn, but don't look past the other cities because those towns have the fans that's going to ride with you for a long time. And I deeply care about each and one of them, like taking time out of their day to come see any one of us. And I want to make sure they leave there more than satisfied with the experience that they receive.
You got a favorite song to perform?
It shifts every night. Sometimes it's Alone Time. Sometimes it's Third Eye. Sometimes it's Friends and Enemies. That's an unreleased record that comes out on October 21st.
Get that.
Smile, another song unreleased that comes out October 21st. So basically everybody on this More Black Superheroes tour is hearing songs that the world hasn't heard yet. So they'll get an exclusive to hear them first, and then the world will get to hear them October 21st. So it varies night to night. But it's just great to be back on stage. It's been a long drought because of COVID and keeping everybody in the house. And as well as I write and do other things within this business, performing is the aspect that I'm deeply, deeply in love with. And that's ultimately what I feel I do best. So it's excited to be back in the element that made me want to do this shit for real in the first place.
And that translates because it's really dope to see that, like, in the tour vlogs that you've been posting to your YouTube, you know what I mean? We've been interacting with those two. You really are talking to the fans after the shows, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You're interacting, you're putting a face with the people listening to your music. Has that added a little bit more value to it because now you know who you're speaking to a little bit more directly?
Man, this is great. And yeah, it definitely adds more value. You know, sometimes you go write something at home or you record something in the studio and you see how many people listen or how many people watch. But if, like, let's say 100,000 people watch something, you don't get to hear 100,000 perspectives from the horse's mouth of what that meant to them or, you know, anything like that. So to perform these songs live and in person, it's nothing like seeing something in person. And to perform in front of the people and to get that direct feedback of how it's impacted them has been unbelievably valuable. And I take that information and kind of begin to retailor and restructure things so I can better serve them the next time that they see me live or see me on YouTube or whatever.
Fire. So what's the next evolution of Bobby Sessions? You know what I mean? What could the people be expecting musically, sonically, everything? What's the next step that you're really excited to take and show the people?
I want to show the people that it's possible to have empowering records that slap like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's simple as that.
Facts. All right, so what's the next upcoming project coming out? What's the next thing that the people can expect to see from you?
Yeah, so October 21st, I'm releasing an EP called I'd Rather Keep It To Myself. It'll be 6 records, and it'll serve as an appetizer of what's to come in 2023.
Yes, sir. Get that. Thank you for rocking with us, man. We appreciate you, dog, bro. More blessings, more life. Go kill this shit tonight, dog.
Absolutely. Love.
Yes, sir, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, dog. I appreciate it.